On today's episode, I'm joined by Jane Ferre talking about her top tips for job searching. So Jane, welcome to Habitz.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Not at all. It's lovely to have you. So how are you an expert in job searching?
Well, I've come to it via a strange route. So I experienced redundancy twice in 1 year. Once was my choice, so a sort of voluntary redundancy. Got headhunted straight away, and then 8 months later, that role disappeared. So a very different experience. It was come to the office for a meeting about your job. Your job's not here. Go home, write your handover, and your last day's Monday. So I had that happen to me twice in a year. I've also been working in HR for kind of 20 odd years. So I've been on the recruiting side of the table. I've been in the job market, and I've kind of put all of that together into creating my own coaching business.
So no one knows it better than you've literally been all elements of it.
I've sat in every chair.
So bad habits, we're going on to job search. It's like where to begin? Where
should we begin?
There's so much mistakes along the way, but where do people tend to go wrong first in your line of work? What do you notice that people tend to do first?
So I think there's one thing, which is sometimes where redundancy can be a bit of a shock, is that people stay in their job for too long. So people outgrow their job, but it's almost comfortable enough for them to stay, but not comfortable enough for them to leave. So they end up staying in a job for far too long. And then they almost start to think, I'm not sure if I could go out and do something else. So they start to lose a bit of confidence, lose some self-esteem. So that's almost the first thing. It's almost like, don't stay in your job too long.
Yeah. No, but it's a comfort thing though, because sometimes if you're unhappy, but you think actually it's stable work, I don't know where to begin, or would I be able to get another job? It is scary, but you've sometimes got to take that leap of faith and see what else is out there.
Yeah. My second bad habit would be job seekers can be quite vague about what they want to do next. So very often they'll say, oh, I don't mind, or they think, oh, I've been a project manager, an HR director, so I'm just going to go and do that. Whereas actually it's an opportunity to really think about what is it that you want to do next. So just be really, start to be less vague and more specific. And
be really niche as well, because you've people pleased almost all your career, but now this is your chance now, this brand new opportunity. Yeah. You could be selfish and actually say, this is actually what I really want to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's tough finding what you want to do as well. And it's kind of like you've got so much choice now. It's hard to pinpoint actually, yeah, I want to do that or I want to do that. It's hard.
It is. And I think, also what people do is this kind of spray and pray approach to job seeking. And I describe it as like busy foolery. So it's almost like, some people will say, oh, I've seen it on LinkedIn. People say, oh, I've applied for 10 jobs this morning. And it's like, it's midday. How have you applied for 10 jobs already? And it's almost they just hit this apply button, apply. And it's just like this scattering their CV out into the market without being really specific about actually what is it that you want to do. And if you've been doing that, you haven't been creating a CV that's 100% of a match for that role. It's kind of an 80% match for everything, not 100% match for 2 or 3 different things.
And it's adapting your CV as well to be really specific with the role as well, because it might be a project manager job again you're applying for, but what is it the project you're managing? Like exactly. You got to be really specific, like you say. And
it's weird because when you're on the receiving end of it, so if you think about a hiring manager, especially if you're responding to a job advert, they're going to get a couple of hundred at least CVs for that role. This, you can tell, and don't ask me how, but there's this gut instinct where you go, I know that this is a spray and pray CV because it's not quite right. So it goes straight on the no pile.
So moving on, positive steps. So what are your top tips for job searching? Then what would you say number one rule would be really good for job searching?
So the first thing I do with my clients is I say, okay, let's hit the pause button. Let's take 3 steps back. Let's look at what is really important to you. Your values drive everything. And when you're working at an organization that's misaligned with your values, that's when you're going to be really unhappy. So I have an exercise that I work through with my clients where we talk about, okay, so let's identify your top 7, and the fewer you can identify, the better, because those will be the ones that are really, really important to you moving forward. And then you can use your values to then decide on what type of businesses do I want to work with. And values-led businesses will use their company values in their recruitment process. So it's like a match made in heaven.
And it's been really specific again, like you say, like being really precise with what you want.
Yeah.
So second good habit then, where do people tend to go right with job searching?
So it's getting clear about the value that you bring to an organisation. So I work with a lot of HR people, and the one common thing that they say is, I was just doing my job. And it's like, okay, I was just doing my job isn't going to get you another job because people don't want people in their business who are just doing their job. So start to think about, how have you really driven that business forward? So I have this acronym RIGIS, RIGIS. What have you reduced, improved, grown, increased, and saved for the business? And try and put a number against that. So have you reduced cost? Have you increased productivity? Have you grown sales? Have you improved processes? But try and add a number on that. So, I've increased sales by X%. Okay, great. I've reduced costs by so many million per year. Great. Get really clear on what the value is that you bring to an organisation.
Oh, again, what you can bring to the organisation, because they want to grow and expand, and you're going to help them grow.
Yeah, and they want a bit of what you bring. So if you go into an interview going, well, I was really just doing my job, it's like, well, okay. But if you go in and talk about how you've changed that business for the better, people go, oh, that's interesting. That's what I need in this business. And you become a better candidate for them.
So finally, Jane, what would be your last good tip then for job searching?
So my last good tip is to get all your collateral together. So by collateral, I mean your CV. So the best way to create a CV that you can adapt easily is to create what I call the database CV. So get everything on there. It can be 10 pages long if you want. Doesn't matter. And when you come to a particular role that you feel that that's something that you would really want to do, then you pull out the most relevant bits from your CV and you put that together. So you can create a new CV in less than 10 minutes, but do all the work and create the database. Likewise, do your LinkedIn profile. Make sure it's, your LinkedIn profile is selling what you want to be in terms of, you talk about your values on there, talk about your experience on there, go and follow the types of organizations that you've identified as being the ones that you want to work for. And start to leverage LinkedIn as well, because most jobs, you can read different reports and get a different number, but most jobs are not advertised, particularly more senior level.
Oh, definitely.
People will go to their network first. So start to think about your network as well, but be really clear in your network and go, I'm in the market for this type of job with this type of company in this type of place with this type of culture. And your network will help to spread your word for you.
So Jane, thank you so much for coming on Habitz. Where can people find you?
My social media of choice is LinkedIn. So Jane Ferre, just follow me, connect with me. I do lots of LinkedIn Lives videos and stuff like that. Lots of job hunting tips are all there. And my website is janeferre.com as well.
Thank you so much again, Jane, for coming in.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Pleasure to be here.